Hey everybody, welcome back to Ty Guy the Sports Guy. I am Ty Guy the Sports Guy. In today's episode, we're going to talk about some bottom offenses in the Major League, the top 5 games to look at for the upcoming 2021 NFL season for Week 1. We are also going to talk about the top hitters and top pitchers from last night, and also to why Aaron Rodgers and the drama from Green Bay isn't going away anytime soon. So, welcome to the next episode of Ty Guy the Sports Guy. I am Ty Guy, the Sports Guy. Please like, subscribe, share, and add. All right, and also, too, good Saturday to everybody. So here we go. All right, first topic of conversation we're going to talk about are the teams who are not killing the ball offensively whatsoever in the major leagues right now. We're going to talk about the bottom 4 offenses in the major leagues right now. Some are a surprise, some are not a surprise, but we're going to talk about a couple different reasons why they are lacking in offense. Number one, we're going to talk about is the Detroit Tigers. As a team, the Detroit Tigers are barely hitting over 200. They strike out a lot. They don't have a whole lot of hitters. And honestly, if you're not a big baseball fan, if you don't do fantasy baseball, you probably couldn't even name 3 or 4 of the guys who started or who are starting or have started for Detroit on the offensive side of the ball this year. For the matchups, you're looking for fantasy baseball. Anytime you see a team playing Detroit, it would be a very nice idea to pick up the starting pitcher as long as the starting pitcher is somewhat decent. This week, I picked up Trevor Williams, who's going to get the start today for the Chicago Cubs. In essence, that he is going to start against the Detroit Tigers, hoping the fact that based off the statistics and the stats that Detroit has another bad game offensively. So just kind of looking at that, that would be a great team to look up, pick up. A great team to look up to get starting pitching if you're in a fantasy baseball league and you're in a deeper league and need to find somebody to start for a game or 2 here or there during the week. The next offense that's absolutely brutal is the Cleveland Indians. The Cleveland Indians have 2 hitters in the whole team, Jose Ramirez and Franmil Reyes. Oh, excuse me, 3. The guy that picked up from Minnesota last year, I always kind of forget about him because I'm not used to seeing him in an Indians uniform. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but Eddie Rosario from the Minnesota Twins to Cleveland this offseason. So they got 3 hitters on the team right now. The rest are kind of so if you have anybody that are playing against the Cleveland Indians, and the first 2 teams I also said are in the AL Central. So if you have some pitchers from the White Sox, if you have some pitchers from the Minnesota Twins, which would be very nice because a lot of the times they're going to play some weaker teams. With that being said, if you have them on the schedule, and again, you're desperate, you need another starting pitcher to pick up, you need some guy to help you, maybe a win category, maybe some strikeouts, some whip, whatever you need. Another team to look to see who they're playing in the upcoming week would be the Cleveland Indians. The next guys we're going to talk about, we're sticking with the Central, but this time we're going to go to the NL. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pittsburgh Pirates are one of the worst offensive teams. They really are in a rebuilding phase. They're going to be rebuilding for quite a while. Their number 1 prospect, their top dude coming in this year, Kenyon Hayes, who's Charlie Hayes' baby boy, playing third base, hurt his wrist very early this offseason. The Pittsburgh Pirates really have a nice hitter in Brian Reynolds. They're having a couple nice guys in Colin Moran here, Adam Frazier, who's stepping up, having a nice year so far. We'll see how they end up going the rest of the year, but all in all, the Pittsburgh Pirates have a terrible hitting team. You know, they can't hit anything. I'm not saying that I could have gone on the team today and hit as well as they are, but just saying it would be close. It would be close. So, and I'm 37 and washed up, so just let you know. So I haven't seen a baseball pitch in 13 years. So, hey, you never know. Then the last team we're going to talk about, this one's a little bit of a surprise to me, but for the fact that they lead the league in strikeouts going into the games last night is the Tampa Bay Rays. If you're a Tampa Bay Rays follower, if you're a fan of baseball, you know they're very similar to the Moneyball that Oakland did. If you saw that movie with Brad Pitt a long time ago, they are a small market team. They try to figure out how to get the biggest bang for the buck. They are trying to figure out how to use all the different technology, all the different facts and stats into baseball, try to make the team as good as possible. One thing apparently they forgot to factor in are strikeouts because they lead the league in strikeouts. So last night, again, as a team, they had nine strikeouts just with the Mets starting pitcher yesterday, who we're going to get into a little bit later in this show. But as a team as a whole, they lead the league in strikeouts. Their team average isn't that great. They're only hitting 220, and then add that in with striking out most of the major leagues. If you're looking for a nice starter, some guy who you can plug in again, the Rays would be a nice team to have as well. Somebody coming in, maybe the AL East, maybe a lower end pitcher, maybe like on somebody who is like a 4th or 5th starter on the Toronto Blue Jays. Maybe somebody you can pick up off the waiver wire, maybe something like that would work really well for you if you're trying to maybe get it, like I said, get another win, get some more Ks per 9, whip, whatever your league consists of. Doing something like that would be really good, especially if you have the Rays that are traveling right now to the NL side of the things, and now you have to have the pitcher hit on top of that. Who, I mean, let's be honest with you, pitchers, most of them, probably 90% of them, can't hit very well. So you add that element in, you take the DH element out for the Rays, you put the pitcher in there for you. They already lead the league in striking out on the AL side. Put them in the NL part. It's just going to get you more strikeouts. So it would be a great time to pick up a pitcher if you're really desperate for strikeouts, K for 9 innings, stuff like that. It would be a great pickup. Last night, we're going to roll right into the pitchers who had great nights. So the pitcher last night that pitched against the Rays was Devin Peterson. He was a starter for the New York Mets. Now, if you follow baseball, if you know how the Mets work or just baseball, he's not a huge name in the pitching market by any stretch of the imagination. But last night he did go 7 innings and he had 9 Ks against the Tampa Bay Rays. So just a nice example of who to have on the mound for the team that has a weaker offense. So if you're, like I said, if you're looking for guys to give you boosts, looking for guys who are going to have an uptick in the stats, the New York Mets pitching staff this week can be a great one to have against the Rays, especially because the Rays are playing in New York, if I'm correct on that. So just another guy who you want to have. Another pitcher who had a really nice night was Tyler Glasnow, the ace for the Tampa Bay Rays, who they stole from the Pittsburgh Pirates, because the Pittsburgh Pirates are the worst team in all of baseball. They have the worst freaking franchise. I don't care what anybody said. The Pittsburgh Pirates are basically all the rest of the teams, AAA affiliates that play in the major leagues, that they trade, that they get nothing for. So Tyler Glasnow last night he went 8 innings, 10 Ks. He had an ERA of 2.25, and he had a whip of 0.75. So Tyler Glasnow had a great night again. He's an ace, plain and simple. He is the man. There is a rumor that the Rays are thinking about maybe trading him because he's going to make $4 million, and the way he's performing this year, once he goes to arbitration, once he makes his case, he'll probably be 8, 9, 10, maybe even more next year, depending on what they can get in the arbitration case. So maybe Tyler Glasnow is a nice trade candidate this year with Kevin Kiermaier, because again, the Rays like to play low salary ball. So we'll see how that happens. Just wait and see. So, but it would be really weird seeing if they trade Glasnow at a $4 million salary, but they signed Chris Archer to a $6 million salary this year, who can't stay healthy, who's not that effective a pitcher. And in my opinion, since the first day he stepped on the Major League Baseball field, has been overrated. Just my opinion, for whatever it's worth, but that's just what I think. So next guy who had a really nice night was Nick Piavetta. The guy who used to be the Philadelphia Phillies starter, got traded to Boston last offseason in a nice deal. Right now he's starting in the Boston rotation. He's having a great renaissance of a year this year. He's found his niche. He's found his stride. He's getting better and better and better. Last night he went 6 innings, had 7 Ks, had an ERA of 3 on the dot. So he had a great night. They played the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, who have a decent offense. Rendon did come back last night, so that definitely does help that offense. Now you have a 2-3-4 with Ohtani, Trout, and Rendon. Very nice. One of the top 2-3-4 combinations in the Major League. You're not going to probably find a better 2-3-4 combo in the Major League, just in my opinion. So next guy we're going to talk about for the pitchers is Max Scherzer. Washington played Arizona last night. Washington stomped on Arizona. They put a 6th spot in the first inning. It was kind of all downhill from the first at bat. Trey Turner got up, hit a home run. They were up 1-0 ever since then. That was basically the beginning of the end. Washington scored 6 runs last night in the first inning. They won 17-2. Max Scherzer threw 5 innings, 7 Ks, had a 0 ERA. So I mean, obviously he's their ace. They're not gonna push him out there. You know, he's a little older. You know, get your 5 innings and qualify for the win. Get your ass off the mound. Let's go. They were stomping and killing Arizona every which way, shape, and form, which was great for Max Scherzer. Seeing that he was an original Arizona Diamondback before they traded him to Detroit, so he probably enjoyed that. As Stone Cold would say, mud hole and stomped it dry last night. He probably enjoyed that very much, seeing that it was against his old team. Now we're going to flip We're going to talk about the guys who crushed the ball last night, guys who had nice nights on the offensive side. First guy we're going to talk about, speaking of crushing the ball, Aaron Judge. Last night, he absolutely hammered anything that was across the plate. He went 2 for 3 with two bombs last night. Excuse me. That's 2 for 3 with 2 home runs last night. So it was very King Griffey Jr.-esque. So the next guy we're going to talk about is Tyler O'Neill. He had a great night. They had a late night game in the San Diego area. I did not personally stay up that late to stay up to see the game. It was past my bedtime. But O'Neill he went 2 for 4 with a bomb and a couple RBIs that game. Another guy who's had a great year. This guy's a 6 tool category if you have stolen bases, OPS, and batting average in your fantasy baseball league. Gregory Hampson for the Colorado Rockies. Anytime you get a guy from Colorado, it's going to be a great plus, just because the fact that they can play half their games in that ballpark is always going to be a huge plus, because the ball carries there better than anybody else. All right, and the guy who had the best night last night was Bobby Dolbeck. He filled up every single stat category you could possibly want for the Boston Red Sox last night. Last night, he went 1 for 2. He had a run, a home run, 2 RBIs, and a stolen base. So across the board for fantasy land, if you had him, you were very happy Bobby Dolbeck owner this morning. I know he's not owning a ton at all, maybe I think 15% as I looked this morning. But if you're in a deeper league, he's a nice guy to have, just in case you have another first baseman go down. He's somebody who can come up and play a little bit for you here and there. And right now, Boston is a little ravished with injuries right now. So he's probably getting a little bit more playing time than he should. So he's a nice guy to plug in there. If he gets hot, fantasy baseball is you just 1 week at a time. So if he gets hot for a week, he might be able to carry a team a little bit. Obviously, he can fill up all the stats there for you. So somebody you might want to add, you might not want to add. It's really up to you. So another pitcher had a great night last night, but didn't get a win, was Kevin Gausman. He had 12 Ks against the Pittsburgh Pirates yesterday. So it just goes to show you that, Pirates, Tampa Bay, 9 Ks last night, 12 Ks last night. So no, very, very Nolan Ryan-esque back there. So, all right. So now we're going to talk about the drama surrounding Aaron Rodgers. I don't really know what's going to happen here. There's so much stuff going on, so many rumors going on. We have the Broncos, the Raiders, the Niners that he wants to go. He wants out of Green Bay, which is fine. I understand they disrespected the man. His feelings are hurt, so I get it. They haven't done anything at all to help him in the last 10 years by drafting 9 defensive guys and 1 offensive guy in the first round. And the guy who they drafted was going to be his replacement in Jordan Love. I get that they're trying to do what they did with Brett Favre in 2005 when Aaron Rodgers fell in the draft. But that year, most of the people felt like Aaron Rodgers was the consensus #1 quarterback. You can't say that about Love, who they got in the draft 2 years ago. Why they did that is beyond me. There's so many guys who were talented that they could have gotten that they didn't get. A wide receiver, a running back, offensive lineman, a tight end, anything to help Rodgers. It's brutal. It's kind of mind-boggling, to be honest with you. Devontae Adams wasn't a first-round pick, and he's had a hell of an NFL career. There's no doubt about it. They got Aaron Jones, who was a 5th-round pick. He's had a great career too, as well. So they do get some guys who definitely help in the later rounds. But at the same time, too, it's like Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He can only do so much. You need help. You need to have talent, so the rest of the talent rises above. So the cream rises to the top. So whatever the Green Bay management's doing is beyond mind-boggling. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. You look at the Jets this year. They did it right. They got the quarterback. They got a wide receiver. They got a running back. They got an offensive lineman. They did everything they possibly could to help Zach Wilson to succeed this year. And you look at the Green Bay Packers, they did kind of the complete opposite. So it just kind of makes you scratch your head a little bit. They got the best quarterback in the league, or at least the top 2 quarterback. They have a very nice head coach who runs a great offense, and Matt LaFleur. So it makes you wonder, like, what's going on in Green Bay? Do they really want Rodgers? Does Rodgers want to be there? I think the only way this is going to be settled is if Rodgers gets traded. My personal preference would be to the Broncos. I think it would be awesome to have Mahomes, Herbert, Rodgers, and then possibly Derek Carr in the same division. I think that'd be a crazy quarterback division. Obviously, the worst quarterback in that division, in my personal opinion, would be Derek Carr. For whatever that's worth, if that does happen. But just seeing Aaron Rodgers and a Denver Bronco jersey would bring back nostalgia for Peyton Manning when he came back, when he got traded from the Colts, when the Colts drafted Andrew Luck 1st overall in 2012. It'd be really cool. And Andrew Luck has a lot of weapons. And if you remember correctly, Peyton Manning, when he came, he had a lot of weapons too. So Peyton Manning had 4 really good receivers. I'm including the tight end on there, Julius Thomas at the time. Again, if Rodgers went over, he would have 4 really good receivers too as well. And I'm putting the tight end Noah Fant on this one too as well. So it would make a lot of sense. It would be very Peyton Manning-esque. So we'll see what happens. It's kind of interesting to see the drama fold out. It's been 2 weeks now, and it just keeps going rolling and rolling and rolling. So just really odd, but whatever happens. It's interesting to stay on the outside and seeing these guys kind of gripe and do all their stuff, and that nobody's perfect here. Both sides are at fault for for their different reasons. So we'll see what happens. But what it is, man. Rodgers has every right to be freaking pissed off. I'd be too. Best quarterback in the NFL, like I said, in my humble opinion. And you can't get any help whatsoever on the offensive side except for your replacement, a running back who you don't need because you got one of the better running backs in the league right now in Aaron Jones. So, but having A.J. Dillon, I'm just going to say this as a side note, A.J. Dillon, this year's second-year guy, you're going to have a little bit of thunder and lightning. So if you do fantasy football, A.J. Dillon would be somebody who would be really great to draft like in probably your last draft pick or second to last draft pick, just for the reason is that he's going to get those hard carries. He's going to get those touchdowns at the end because he's a big body dude. Green Bay gets cold. They play in a colder division against Chicago themselves, Detroit, even though it's indoors, and the Vikings, even though it's indoors. But when they play the games at Lambeau Field, it's going to be outdoors. So just with that being said, he's going to be a big, hard-nosed runner. Second year, he's going to get better. So just maybe somebody might want to get at the end of the NFL draft NFL fantasy draft, depending on where he is. So he'd be a really nice guy to have. I bet he'd get you about 7 or 8 touchdowns this year just to be a goal line back at least, which is going to be a little tough for Aaron Jones owners. But, hey, we'll get into that later. So next thing we're going to talk about is the Week 1 2021 NFL schedule. This week, the schedule got released for all 18 weeks. Now, this is the first time ever. It is the biggest NFL season ever. 17 weeks. Still, the guys only have one scheduled off week, which I think is bullshit. I think that's stupid. If you're going to have 18 weeks or not, I'd rather see them have 19 weeks and 2 weeks where they have time to recover and improve, because the NFL is a grind as it is. 16 games is tough on your body. Anybody who's played in the NFL, anybody who's played football understands the rigors of how tough it is on your body, what your body goes through hit after hit after hit after hit. It's crazy. It's a lot of toll on your body, mentally, physically, and everything else in between. But I'm going to talk about the top 5 games that I'm most looking forward to watching and why I'm most looking forward to watching. The first one we're going to talk about is the Dallas Cowboys going to Tampa, taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this is really cool. Dak's coming back from his season injury last year. The Dallas Cowboys have a high potent offense. It's going to be very nice, very fun to watch. The Buccaneers are going to have a high potent offense. It's going to be fun to watch too as well. You're going to have the best quarterback of all time, in my humble opinion, in Tom Brady. He's going to come out. He's going to come running and gunning. Tampa Bay didn't really do a whole lot to improve the running game this offseason. They re-signed Leonard Fournette. They got their 3-headed guys in there, with their draft pick, and then also Jones, Fournette, and the other guy they got in the draft last year. So, I mean, they do still have all those weapons. They still got Gronk. They still got Evans. They got Antonio Brown back too as well. So look for Tom Brady to throw the ball all around the yard this year. So last year, people were saying Tom Brady was going to throw 50 touchdowns and 500 yards. Is the year he's going to do it. So second year in the offense, all the weapons back, a little bit of a running game. I like for Tom Brady to go off, even though, and also on top of that too, I forgot, they got Giovanni Bernard in the offseason, who's one of the best catching running backs in all of the league. So keep an eye out for him too. If you want a low draft pick, maybe a medium, maybe a little bit of a higher ceiling this year, just because of the fact that Tom Brady loves running backs to dump the ball off too. The Cowboys, for the fact that they still have their 3 awesome receivers. They got Zeke, who's got a lot to prove this year. They got Tony Pollard if Zeke does not do his thing. So you will see what happens on that. But the Cowboys will have a potent offense. Their defense got better this season just through the draft. Every draft pick was on the defensive side, so Dallas is gearing up. So we'll see what happens if those guys come together. We'll see what happens. We'll see what kind of game it's going to be. I'm expecting a high-scoring game right out of the gates. So. Next game we're going to talk about is the Seahawks and Colts. This one's really interesting for me, just because the fact is the Colts are a ground and pound type of team, and this is Carson Wentz's debut with the Colts. The Seahawks are also trying to be a ground and pound team as well. So we'll see what kind of happens on that. They're both very similar in that sense, but they also can be high-flying offenses too as well. The Colts have a much better defense, in my opinion, so I think that's where they're going to win the game. The Seahawks, I think they'll have a nice route too. But anytime you have DK Metcalf, who is a game changer in any way, shape, or form, and also too, the Seahawks are going to have a new offensive coordinator, so their offense is going to be a lot different this year. We'll see what kind of variation they have. Maybe this year they'll not be as predictable, where they just do run and then pass deep. So, like DK Metcalf said in the interview, he goes, everybody knew what our offense was. It was the same stuff. I'll PG it up for you, but it was the same stuff. Every week people knew what we were doing. So that's why after the first 8 weeks, that's why their offense got basically stuck in mud, and that's why they didn't do a whole lot. So that'll be a really interesting and fun matchup to watch. Next one we're going to talk about is, this is going to be a slobber knocker, in my opinion, the Bills and Steelers. This is going to be a hard-hitting matchup, but you're going to have a couple of high-end quarterbacks in there with Big Ben and also Josh Allen. The Steelers and the Bills, they both have really nice defenses in their own different ways. The Steelers had a top 5 defense last year. The Bills had a top, I believe, 15 defense last year. The Bills used some high draft picks on their defense to try to shore that up a little bit. Josh Allen gets all of his weapons back, and he also added another receiver this offseason too from the Saints. I'm drawing a blank for some reason on his name. He was the Niners 2 years ago, Saints last year. Yeah, that guy. Oh, Emmanuel Sanders. So he got Emmanuel Sanders on top of that too as well. They lost Josh Brown. So Emmanuel Sanders will be a nice complement piece to the Bills offense this year. So they're going to keep rocking and rolling. So I don't expect Josh Allen to lose anything whatsoever. If anything, this year he'll get better and better and better, just like he did last year. So that'll be a really fun game to watch week 1. And it'll also be really interesting to see how the Steelers run the ball, how they incorporate their rookie running back, Najee Harris, who they spent a first-round pick on this year. So it'll be really, really fun to watch. So one of the other games that's really interesting to me is the Jets and Panthers. Obviously, if you've been paying attention to the offseason whatsoever, Sam Darnold was a Jet. Now he's a Panther. Teddy Bridgewater was a Panther. Now he's Bronco. And the Jets drafted Zach Wilson 2nd overall. So it's gonna be really cool to see all that, how that all works out. A little bit of drama. It's gonna be interesting because whoever wins this game is gonna win the battle of the QBs. It's gonna, whatever media market wins this game is gonna say, oh, we got the better deal with QB after game 1, which is ridiculous, but that's just how our world works now. So my personal opinion, I'd rather have Sam Darnold in the Panthers offense because he's got a lot more weapons with McCaffrey. Also to I'm drawing a blank. Their receiver too as well. Totally drawing a blank on the guy. I'm sorry. Robbie Anderson was one, and then the other guy, their main guy. Drawing a blank on his name, but but for fantasy purposes too, their main guy. I'm drawing a blank for. I promise I'll remember one day. But he last year had one of the worst quarterback situations of all with Teddy Bridgewater. And I'm not trying to disrespect the man. The man's a very serviceable quarterback. But to get the ball where he wanted it, to get the ball deep, to run all the routes, Teddy Bridgewater can't make the throws. His arm's not strong enough. Watch out for Sam Darnold this year to excel in that Carolina offense too as well. They got offensive-minded head coach who actually can coach, unlike Adam Gase, who's probably the worst coach of all of football, high school, college, and pro. He's absolutely fucking terrible. So anyways, with that being said, Sam Darnold's going to have a nice year. Look for that offense to go crazy. Look for Christian McCaffrey to be Christian McCaffrey, which would be huge. Sam Darnold's never had any of these weapons that he had in New York. New York basically handcuffed him, said, here you go, kid. Try your best. And obviously that didn't work for anybody whatsoever. So last game I'm really interested in is the Browns and Chiefs. The reason why I'm really interested for this game is because the Browns are, they're right up there. They're kind of a Super Bowl contender. And I use air quotes because you're not really a Super Bowl contender until you get to that level, till you get to that next level. Top, I know they got really far last year. They did some improvements to their defense to really help out. They signed a couple of defensive backs this year. They drafted a defensive back too as well. The Chiefs, they're high octane offense. They got Tyreek Hill, they got Hardeman, they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who in my opinion, is going to have a much better year this year. He's going to have a much bigger part of the offense because now they got training camps. Now they have the playbook. They're going to get more. They're going to be able to incorporate him more as well with his talent. So last year, I feel like they incorporated his talent good, but now they have a full season to really see what he can do and really get the playbook going. I think it's going to be even better for him. It'll take a little bit of the pressure off Patrick Mahomes. The number one thing that I'm really proud for the Chiefs that they did is they revamped that whole offensive line, which is going to be huge, which is going to help Patrick Mahomes. And I also believe it's going to help the running back attack really, really a lot. So I look for the Chiefs to have a really nice rushing game this year. Look for Clyde Edwards-Helaire to hit that. Look for Clyde Edwards-Helaire to hit that hole and just go. So it'll be great. The Ravens are the Ravens. They're going to have, the Browns. Sorry, the Browns. The Browns are the Browns. You know what they're going to do. They're going to rush, and rush the ball. They got a two-headed monster with Kareem Hunt and also Nick Chubb. Two of the top, probably I'd say Nick Chubb's probably a top 5 running back in my opinion, and Kareem Hunt's probably a top 15 running back in my opinion. So you're going to have those two guys. They're going to do their thing. Last year they were a great 1-2 punch. Their coach for Cleveland did a great job with that whole running back scheme. They're going to get OBJ back, so he'll be a nice added piece to the Browns offense. Also with the juice, they have a nice running back, a nice fullback, a nice tight end room too as well. So look for the Browns to have a really nice season as well. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. I think that's going to be a really close game. I'm going to say like 24-28. It's going to be a high-scoring game, lots of offense. There will be some defense played in that game too as well. But just overall, I'm really excited for the Week 1 schedule. I'm really excited for the football season. I'm glad that we're going to have a full season again this year, and that we're trending in the right way here. So just excited. It's a great time to be a sports person. You know, a lot of great things happen in the sports world. So anyways, that's my show for the day. I am Ty Guy, the Sports Guy. Please like, subscribe, add, share. Please let me know what you didn't like, what you did like with everything. So I really appreciate all the feedback. Anything that you'd like to see, any topics I can talk about, please let me know. I'd really appreciate that. So Ty Guy, the Sports Guy. Happy Saturday, everybody. May 15th, 2021. All right. From two of the greatest of all time, first ballot Hall of Famers, Mr. Nolan Ryan, Mr. Ken Griffey Jr., and the guy who's going to be wearing this hat right here when he goes in the Hall of Fame, Mr. Albert Pujols. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday. For all the ladies and gentlemen who have been watching me, who have subscribed, all the people who give me good feedback, bad feedback, anything in between, please let me know. I really appreciate everybody on here helping me out. Spread the word, please. Show the love to everybody else. I'm Ty Guy, the Sports Guy. All right, everybody, have a wonderful Saturday, May the 15th, and I'm out.